to get money. Okay, now, when I talk to young entrepreneurs, they really don't know much about how to actually qualify for finance. But what I want to do is share with you how I'm presenting it to young people, so you can share that message if you like it, but also to have a conversation with you about what I may be missing that are relevant to Rwanda in particular, because I think that we can all learn from each other, and I'd love to learn more from you. So let's talk about leadership. The decision to lead others is a personal decision. Leadership is not something that is decided by somebody else. Nobody tells you that you're a leader. You become a leader. You decide to lead. And everybody in this room has to lead their classroom. They lead their research. They lead their campus. You are all leaders in some way, right? There are loud leaders, there are quiet leaders. But there are 5 qualities that every leader actually has that they think about all the time, and the really successful leaders are excellent at these 5 things. Number 1 is vision. So I like to tell people, people come to me and they say, you seem like a visionary. I'll tell them what I'm working on, I'll tell them what I want to do with education, I want to do technology, I want to do travel, I want to be everywhere in the world. They say I'm visionary. I think that's ridiculous. I don't think I'm any more visionary than somebody else. I'm just willing to say it out loud. I think everybody who has a perspective on the world, who can see something better for tomorrow, is a visionary. I don't think that visionary is an exclusive club. I don't think that just a few people get to be visionaries. I think that we get to decide to share our view of what the world can be. That's what vision is about. And a visionary leader is not a leader who keeps that vision to themselves. It's a leader who communicates that vision every day. So people need reinforcement. Let me give you an example. Who here is religious? Does anybody go to church? Okay. Or to mosque or synagogue? In my case, I go to synagogue. So every week we go to church. Why is that? Why do we go every week? It's because every week people need to be re-inspired. It's a long journey. We have to be reminded. We have to be taught more. We have to be brought back in. That's why they make it a weekly thing, not an annual thing. Because if you go annually, if you go once a year, then the religion will suffer. Because that's a lot of time that you're not thinking about God. And religion knows this. And so they bring you back every week or even every day in many religions to continue to nurture that message of what their vision is, of what the religious vision that maybe your religion preaches is. Now the same should be true for anything else we do, which is you need to nurture the vision of your company or of your future on a regular basis. You cannot tell a group of people, we're going to build a great company, can't tell them on day one, and never remind them. A leader communicates it every day, and that keeps people on track. The third thing is execution. Now, the interesting thing about execution is not that the leader necessarily is the best at execution. It's not that the leader...
Excuse me, we have the slides for you, don't bother writing.
Oh, yeah, well, if you want.
We will hand out the slides later when we finish.
You can write or you don't, but yeah, we have slides.
Yeah, some important major
That's
points
good,
you can write definitely.
You're gonna move this,
We have the slides.
blocking your face. So the third thing is a little bit more nuanced than it looks. Execution is interesting because one thing that's really a big part of leaders and entrepreneurs is that they are always interested in action. Very action focused, interested in getting things done. But a leader does not think that he can do it alone. A leader delegates the execution, okay? So a leader organizes the right people and delegates out the execution. That's a very important thing. And usually in America we have a term micromanagement. You familiar with micromanagement?
Yes.
By default, people are micromanagers. They want to control what others are doing. That is a terrible thing for business, because you're not letting people use their creative resources to create value. And so micromanagers tend to be very unsuccessful. It's too difficult. And you think too small. I have, if I have 12 people working for me right now, and I try to micromanage them, then I want to know everything they're doing every single day. There's no time for vision. There's no time for communication. There's no time for organization. So execution by a leader means delegating out the right responsibilities to the right people. So actually, leaders find people to fill the role. Leaders say, I need a marketing expert. And they go and find a marketing expert that they can trust, who can lead on the marketing. Because everybody needs to be a leader in their own domain. Leadership actually comes from the top, but it trickles throughout the entire organization. The fourth is feedback. So I mentioned this very, very terrifying journey of building an enterprise. The really successful leader knows how to listen. In fact, it's said that the best leaders are the ones who listen the most. Now that's not what you'd think. You'd think that the guy who stands in front of the room and talks a lot is the leader, right? But the truth is that the most effective leaders are the best listeners. They're the ones who sit with you and are interested in all parts of what your ideas are. The one who you leave the room saying, that was a really fun conversation because you got to do all the talking. That's a great leader. A leader is one who makes you feel important because they value your opinion. And so leadership requires the ability to listen to feedback. You cannot be right all the time. Great leaders know that they are wrong often. And then the final thing is appreciation. So it's always good to listen to feedback. It's also very important to constantly reinforce positive behavior. So appreciation is about telling people what you're doing is working. Thanking them for their contribution. Good leaders constantly provide that feedback, but they only do it when they mean it. Good leaders give you that appreciation with that sense of authenticity, that genuine, I really appreciate what you're doing. So that's the leadership prism. That's the 5 areas to explore when you're thinking about your leadership. And what I would do is, when you go about leading your classroom or leading your organization or your business or the school, ask yourself, how would you rate yourself on these 5 things? Are you sharing a vision? Are you really? What is your vision? Is it clear? How are you communicating your vision? Who's executing on your vision? Are you learning how others are receiving that vision and the execution of that vision? And finally, are you truly appreciating others in this process? If you can give yourself high scores on all of those, then you're a very successful leader. That's tough to do. But that's what this is really about.